Demography Demographics of New Zealand and list of cities. In New Zealand, the 2018 New Zealand census enumerated a resident population of 4,699,755, an increase of 10.8% over the 2013 census figure as of June 2022. The total population has risen to an estimated 5,131,650. New Zealand's population increased at a rate of 1.9% per year in the 7 years ended June 2020. In September 2020, Statistics New Zealand reported that the population had climbed above 5 million people in September 2019, according to population estimates based on the 2018 census. New Zealand's population today is concentrated to the north of the country, with around 76.6% of the population living in the North Island and 23.3% in the South Island as of June 2021. During the 20th century, New Zealand's population drifted north. In 1921, the country's median center of population was located in the Tasman Sea west of Leven in Manawatu, Whanganui. By 2017, it had moved to 80 kilometers, 170 miles, north to near Kauai in Waikato. New Zealand is a predominantly urban country, with 83.9% of the population living in urban areas and 51.0% of the population living in the 7 cities, with populations exceeding 100,000. Auckland, with over 1.4 million residents, is by far the largest city. New Zealand cities generally rank highly on international livability measures. For instance, in 2016, Auckland was ranked the world's third most livable city and Wellington the 12th by the Mercer Quality of Living Survey. The median age of the New Zealand population at the 2018 census was 37.4 years, with life expectancy in 2017-2019 being 80.0 years for males and 83.5 years for females. While New Zealand is experiencing sub-replacement fertility with a total fertility rate of 1.6 in 2020, the fertility rate is above the OECD average. By 2050, the median age is projected to rise to 43 years and the percentage of people 60 years of age and older to rise from 18% to 29%. In 2016, the leading cause of death was cancer at 30.3%, followed by ischemic heart disease, 14.9%, and cerebrovascular disease, 7.4%. As of 2016, total expenditure on health care, including private sector spending, is 9.2% of GDP. Ethnicity and immigration. New Zealanders and immigration to New Zealand. Pedestrians crossing a wide street which is flanked by storefronts. Pedestrians on Queen Street in Auckland, an ethnically diverse city. In the 2018 census, 71.8% of New Zealand residents identified ethnically as European and 16.5% as Maori. Other major ethnic groups include Asian, 15.3%, and Pacific peoples, 9.0%, two-thirds of whom live in the Auckland region. The population has become more multicultural and diverse in recent decades. In 1961, the census reported that the population of New Zealand was 92% European and 7% Maori, with Asian and Pacific minorities sharing the remaining 1%. While the demonym for a New Zealand citizen is New Zealander, the informal Kiwi is commonly used both internationally and by locals. The Maori loanword Pukeha has been used to refer to New Zealanders of European descent, although some reject this name. The word today is increasingly used to refer to all non-Polynesian New Zealanders. The Maori were the first people to reach New Zealand, followed by the early European settlers. Following colonization, immigrants were predominantly from Britain, Ireland and Australia, because of restrictive policies similar to the White Australia policy. There was also significant Dutch, Dalmatian, German, and Italian immigration, together with indirect European immigration through Australia, North America, South America, and South Africa. Net migration increased after the Second World War. In the 1970s and 1980s, policies on immigration were relaxed, and immigration from Asia was promoted. In 2009-10, an annual target of 45,000-50,000 permanent residence approvals was set by the New Zealand Immigration Service, more than one new migrant for every 100 New Zealand residents. In the 2018 census, 27.4% of people counted were not born in New Zealand, up from 25.2% in the 2013 census. Over half, 52.4% of New Zealand's overseas-born population lives in the Auckland region. The United Kingdom remains the largest source of New Zealand's immigrant population, with around a quarter of all overseas-born New Zealanders born there. Other major sources of New Zealand's overseas-born population are China, India, Australia, South Africa, Fiji, and Samoa. The number of fee-paying international students increased sharply in the late 1990s, with more than 20,000 studying in public tertiary institutions in 2002. Languages of New Zealand. English is the predominant language in New Zealand, spoken by 95.4% of the population. 3. New Zealand English is a variety of a language with a distinctive accent and lexicon. It is similar to Australian English, and many speakers from the Northern Hemisphere are unable to tell the accents apart. The most prominent differences between the New Zealand English dialect and other English dialects are the shifts in the short front vowels. The short I sound, as in kit, has centralized towards the schwa sound. The in, and about. The short e sound, as in dress, has moved towards the short I sound, and the short a sound, as in trap, has moved to the short e sound. After the Second World War, Maori were discouraged from speaking their own language, Te Reo Maori, in schools and workplaces, and it existed as a community language only in a few remote areas. It has recently undergone a process of revitalization, being declared one of New Zealand's official languages in 1987, and is spoken by 4.0% of the population. There are now Maori language immersion schools and 2 television channels that broadcast predominantly in Maori. Many places have both their Maori and English names officially recognized. As recorded in the 2018 census, 3. Samoan is the most widely spoken non-official language, 2.2%, followed by Northern Chinese, including Mandarin, 2.0%, Hindi, 1.5%, and French, 1.2%. New Zealand Sign Language was reported to be understood by 22,986 people, 0.5%. It became one of New Zealand's official languages in 2006. Religion in New Zealand. Irreligion in New Zealand. Simple white building with 2 red domed towers are Ratana Church on a hill near Retihi. The 2-tower construction is characteristic of Ratana buildings. Christianity is the predominant religion in New Zealand, although its society is among the most secular in the world. In the 2018 census, 44.7% of respondents identified with one or more religions, including 37.0% identifying as Christians. Another 48.5% indicated that they had no religion of those who affiliate with a particular Christian denomination. The main responses are Anglicanism, 6.7%, N11, Roman Catholicism, 6.3%, and Presbyterianism, 4.7%. The Maori-based Ringatu and Ratana religions, 1.2%, are also Christian in origin. Immigration and demographic change in recent decades have contributed to the growth of minority religions, such as Hinduism, 2.6%, Islam, 1.3%, Buddhism, 1.1%, and Sikhism, 0.9%. The Auckland region exhibited the greatest religious diversity. Education in New Zealand and tertiary education in New Zealand. Primary and secondary schooling is compulsory for children aged 6 to 16, with a majority of children attending from the age of 5. There are 13 school years in attending state public schools. It's free to New Zealand citizens and permanent residents from a person's 5th birthday to the end of the calendar year following their 19th birthday. New Zealand has an adult literacy rate of 99%, and over half of the population aged 15 to 29 hold a tertiary qualification. There are 5 types of government-owned tertiary institutions: universities, colleges of education, polytechnics, specialist colleges, and wananga, in addition to private training establishments. In the adult population, 14.2% have a bachelor's degree or higher, 30.4% have some form of secondary qualification as their highest qualification, and 22.4% have no formal qualification. The OECD's Program for International Student Assessment ranks New Zealand's education system as the 7th best in the world, with students performing exceptionally well in reading, mathematics and science.